So we're going to be looking at opening up, not so much expanding, but in our opening up, we do expand our awareness, we expand our consciousness. And in that expansion is where the attunement takes place, because what we're doing is we're basically moving our mind from one frequency to another. And most of you probably heard this. It's like tuning a radio in. You're going through frequencies and you hit that static until you get to that baby clear channel, that clear frequency. Okay. And the static is where is that moment where our thoughts are involved in the link, in the connection to spirit, if that makes sense. So what we try to do is move our mind through the static. We're moving our mind away from what's called our ordinary conscious mind or conscious awareness, our everyday thoughts, as best as we can to make that attunement. So what's happening in that moment is we ourselves, we're moving our mind, we're applying effort, we're making the effort to attune to another frequency, okay, which we can go through different bandwidths, but let's just keep it simple and say we're moving to another frequency. And in doing so, what happens is your mediumship and your link automatically and instinctively improves straight away, because you're no longer sitting there with your ordinary mind and all your thoughts, daily thoughts running through, waiting for spirit to come and then going, well, I don't know why I don't get anything. Well, we do get something, but that information is lost in that vast array of our own thoughts. So it's quite simple, isn't it? It's like, okay, no wonder I can't, understand what spirit's saying. All my other thoughts are actually in the way and blocking it, and their thoughts are lost in all that mass of our own thought energy. So by simply going, okay, I need to move my mind, and if we're lucky, we then go, okay, I'm moving my mind. What happens in that instance is then we start to, even though we go to a different frequency, what we're doing is we're taking our consciousness and sensing then subtle vibrations. And that's where you hear people say, I can sense spirit. We move to that subtle frequency where spirit is. And then, of course, they've come a long way and they're meeting us. So they know exactly what we're doing and they're moving in. So that's where it's all at, isn't it? It's making that attunement. So we're applying the effort to move our mind to the frequencies of spirit. Even though we have to kind of be clear about this. When we move from, let's say we're moving from one frequency of awareness to the next frequency of awareness, doesn't mean to say our awareness is completely in spirit. So when we're moving our mind, we're not moving it in completely into the spirit world. We're not standing in the middle of the spirit world. Okay. If we were standing in the middle of the spirit world, then you're probably the most popular medium on the planet, because you'd be given exceptionally astounding information. So what we're doing is moving it closer to those frequencies of spirit. Now we can say spirit's always around us, and which is true, because they're always in and out, moving out, in and out. But our daily, everyday thoughts are the ones what's blocking us. So in effect, what we're going to do is go, okay, I need to move through them thoughts. I need to take part of my mind to them frequencies. And by doing that, we're getting in touch with the subtle energies. And when we get in touch with the subtle energies and subtle frequencies and vibrations, that's when that stream, that energy and information can come from spirit. Okay. And once the more we practice in that connection and build that connection up by practicing, that link and that connection gets strengthened. And then ultimately we'll go, okay, I've got spirit here. I'm fully aware I've got spirit here. And this is the information I've got. Because we've just moved away from our ordinary thoughts. Okay. We can't confuse this with psychic readings. It's really important we don't confuse the two. There is a clear difference between them two. Okay. A psychic message is when we expand our awareness, open up our awareness. We're heightening our sensitivity and our mind is telepathically sensing the energy of another person. And whether it's in this room or whether you know doing a reading somewhere or there's an environment where there's several people, okay, and we're picking the information up from them out of their auric field, so to speak, feeding that information back to us. We catch that information. We either give them it back in a different form, or we put our interpretation to that information and give them it back. In effect, what we're doing, if a psychic reading, is actually simply telling the person some of what they're already aware of, but maybe on a deeper level. They might not consciously be aware of it, but subconsciously on a soul level, they'll be aware of it because it's in their field of energy and we're taking it from their field of energy. So they've got to, awareness is aware of everything. So they'll be aware of it at some degree. Okay, so that's the psychic message. Completely different. Sometimes, to be quite honest, it's worth training your mind in psychic messages. It really is. Psychic messages are very, very easy to do. Extremely, once you've expanded and opened up. And it's worth testing them and putting it to the test because we are psychic beings. So we need to do it on one level anyway. But when it comes to saying, I'm a medium and I'm communicating with spirit, then we can't touch the psychic aspect of a reading. We've got to then, if we've been authentic and true, we've got to then say, I'm a medium, I've got spirit here, i.e. I've got a discounted soul here, and this is what they are telling me. When you hear the comment, I can't read you, I can't tell you anything because I can't read you, just say, good, thank you, I'm pleased you can, because you're not supposed to be inside my field of energy. I've come for a reading from spirit.